Many companies pass their annual security audits with flying colors, only to get breached weeks later. You build a state-of-the-art lock, but attackers realize the door can be lifted right off its hinges. To understand how attackers bypass our technical defenses, look at the corporate social engineering tactics of the mid-2000s, specifically the 2006 HP pretexting scandal. Investigators hired by the company illegally acquired the private phone records of board members and journalists. They didn't hack a database. They simply picked up a phone and impersonated the targets to the telecom providers. While that 2006 attack was entirely manual, today's attackers use artificial intelligence to automate voice cloning and scale highly personalized campaigns. This line graph maps attacker sophistication over a 20-year timeline, rising exponentially. Meanwhile, the flat line represents traditional annual training. Relying on a static defense creates a massive gap against automated threats that evolve weekly. Let's define what standards like SOC 2 and HIPAA actually measure. They evaluate administrative compliance, ensuring you have policies on paper. They do not reflect the chaotic, real-world complexity of your actual network. Relying heavily on automated vulnerability scanners gives you a fast inventory of technical flaws, but it tells you nothing about the business context. A low-priority alert on an obscure server might actually be the single gateway to your customer database. These low-cost point-in-time checks create a false sense of security. You are checking boxes while remaining wide open to modern, human-focused attack vectors. To fix this, you need to align your budget with your actual threat exposure. We are going to evaluate static security models against dynamic ones, looking at both the human and technical layers. Earning a compliance certification is a legal necessity. Passing an audit does not guarantee your organization can withstand a targeted, human-led cyber attack. We start with the human layer. The standard input for most companies is annual compliance training. You deploy a scheduled module, employees click through it, and you generate auditable logs to satisfy regulators. The trade-off is rapid knowledge decay. 6 months later, your staff is entirely unprepared for a sophisticated business email compromise attack because they've forgotten the training. This flowchart illustrates just-in-time training. A simulated phishing email bypasses the scanner, reaching a user. A failed click immediately triggers a microlearning module. By intervening after a mistake, you deliver correction when the brain retains it best, modifying behavior for the next attempt. Implementing this requires complex software integration with your internal HR systems. If you send too many simulations, you risk causing employee training fatigue. This approach shifts how you measure success. You stop tracking the percentage of modules completed and start tracking the time it takes your workforce to report a threat. Dynamic training treats security as a continuous behavioral discipline rather than a yearly administrative chore. Attackers use open-source intelligence, pulling together a spider web of public data, social media, press releases, and org charts to craft highly convincing, personalized spear phishing campaigns. This involves actively scanning your own employees' public digital footprints to determine exactly how exposed they are to these tactics. Your security team can pinpoint high-risk individuals, like a finance executive whose contact info is highly visible, and automatically enroll them in targeted deepfake or wire fraud drills. This level of internal profiling carries a cost. It can raise significant privacy concerns among your staff, requiring you to communicate clearly and carefully to maintain internal trust. If you send a generic phishing test looking for spelling errors, you leave those high-risk executives unprepared for an AI-cloned voice call impersonating one of your trusted vendors. Treating all employees as having the exact same risk level wastes your budget on low-value targets while leaving your most exposed individuals unprotected. Moving to technical defenses, the standard input for most organizations is the automated vulnerability scanner. It serves as a necessary baseline measure to catalog your systems. The outcome is a highly inexpensive inventory of theoretical flaws. The trade-off is massive alert fatigue. Your IT team ends up drowning in thousands of low-level warnings that lack operational context. Black box penetration testing offers a dynamic, human-led alternative to those automated scanners. Scattered red dots represent isolated scanner alerts. The solid red line shows a pen test, an expert chaining vulnerabilities to see if critical data can be compromised. the trade-off is high financial investment and the risk of disrupting live systems if improperly scoped. When executed correctly, a pen test bridges the communication gap between the IT department and the boardroom. It takes abstract technical flaws and translates them into quantifiable financial risk. Automated scanners tell you what components are broken. Human-led penetration testing tells you if your business can actually be breached. This quadrant chart maps risk exposure against resource availability to determine your optimal security investment. In the bottom left is the budget-conscious SMB segment, with low resources and target value. Their strategy focuses on targeted role-based training and automated scanning. These organizations make a practical sacrifice, foregoing comprehensive technical validation for an affordable human-layer defense. Moving up is the regulated mid-market, striving for compliance with moderate resources. Their setup requires continuous phishing simulations and annual gray box pen tests. You accept higher implementation friction and cost to achieve auditable proof of actual security efficacy. Finally, the top right high-risk enterprise segment. Handling massive financial volumes or nation-state threats requires active human risk management and full red or purple team simulations. Their trade-off is severe. They must absorb significant capital costs and handle high operational complexity to achieve proactive, board-ready risk mitigation. Relying solely on legacy compliance at the enterprise level invites catastrophic damage. The pressure from modern threats will simply shatter a static defense. Compliance is merely the floor of your security posture. Genuine behavioral change across your workforce is the true ceiling. To protect your business, you must stop measuring security by completion logs and checkboxes. You start measuring it by actual behavioral resilience and incident response times.